One of the biggest struggles students have when learning Portuguese is knowing when to use the PPS, simple past perfect, and the imperfeito, imperfect tense. This is a challenge, especially for native English speakers, since a simple translation does not help. Today, I will walk you through each tense and give you practical examples to help you better identify which tense you should be using. If you enjoy my videos, remember to subscribe to my channel. It's a simple way to support my content. Another way to support me is making a purchase through my Amazon store that is packed with Portuguese items, including Portuguese learning books. I'll leave the link below. E agora, vamos começar! The essential difference between the PPS and imperfeito lies in the real value of what these two tenses mean. It's the notion of time flow and the permanence of the action. PPS refers to localized, time-framed, perfectly finished actions, while imperfect suggests description, continuity, and repetition of the action. Let's start with the PPS, pretérito perfeito simples. It is used in basically 3 situations in Portuguese, all perfectly defined. Número 1. Unhabitual past events. Eu acordei atrasada para o trabalho hoje. I woke up late for work today. Also included in this category of events are those actions, activities, or experiences that we did at least once in the past without implying repetition. This is when the word já, already, or ever, is commonly used. Já leste o livro? Have you read the book? Número 2. When talking about actions that had some duration, long or short, but that are perfectly defined in time. Estudei francês durante 2 anos. I studied French for 2 years. Aproveitei para descansar hoje porque trabalhei muito ontem. I took the time to relax today because I worked so hard yesterday. 3. Finally, we must use the PPS when talking about sequential past actions. Action number 2 can only happen when action number 1 has already finished, and so on. Ontem saí de casa cedo, fui ao parque e depois fiz umas compras. Yesterday, I left home early, I went to the park, and then did some shopping. Now that we know these rules, let's contrast them with the use of the imperfect. While PPS refers to ordinary past actions, with the imperfect you will express the meaning of used to, because we are talking about circumstances or habits that we have had for a long time and describe or define us. We usually introduce this tense with words like antigamente, before, in the old days, dantes, back then, once, or even quando, when, if we are introducing an old context. Antigamente, eu ia muito ao cinema. In the past, I used to go to the cinema a lot. Dantes, eu gostava muito de queijo. Agora não. Once I used to love cheese. Now I don't. Quando eu andava na universidade, estudava muito e quase não saía. When I was in college, I studied hard and rarely went out. As in fairy tales or in our own story, the description of circumstances in the past, especially when talking about places, people, or situations, require the imperfect. Quando eu era criança, vivia num grande apartamento. Eu portava-me bem e tinha muitos amigos. When I was a kid, I lived in a big flat. I was well behaved and had lots of friends. Talking about time in the past, whether hours, age, or time of year, also needs imperfect. Usually, in these situations, we use the verb ter, to have, ser or estar, to be, or ficar, to stay, get. Eram 7 horas quando saí de casa. It was 7 when I left home. Ela tinha 18 anos quando foi para a universidade. She was 18 when she went to college. In these sentences, the part that refers to time is in the imperfect tense, while the single past action is in the PPS. If in the PPS, we talk about sequential actions, in the imperfect, we are going to talk about simultaneous past actions. To express this idea, we usually use the word while. In the present tense, we say, enquanto eu almoço, ela conta-me as novidades. While I eat lunch, she tells me the news. If we are describing this circumstance in the past, we say, enquanto eu almoçava, ela contava-me as novidades. While I was eating lunch, she was telling me the news, using the imperfect. We very often use the compound structure estar in the imperfect plus a plus infinitive when we want to describe a past context without an explicit time marker. Estava a nevar quando fui para o trabalho. It was snowing when I went to work. The next 3 uses of the imperfect are less related to the past tense and more to communicative intent. So it is usually even less possible to relate to English past tenses. The first is when we verbalize intentions and desires in the sense of desired, intended, or planned actions, or situations that are difficult or impossible to accomplish. Like the English meaning for I was supposed to, I meant to, I wanted to. Like when we say, apetecia-me ir ao cinema. I feel like going to the movies. Eu ia à praia, mas começou a chover. I was going to go to the beach, but it started to rain. Another use of the imperfect in Portuguese is the so-called imperfect of courtesy, used to make requests. In English, we use the conditional mood to do that. I would like a coffee, please. In Portuguese, we say, queria café, por favor. Note that when we express our preference or make a request, that is for us, we use the imperfect. Desculpe, o senhor podia ajudar-me? Excuse me, could you help me? Eu preferia uma Coca-Cola sem gelo, por favor. I would prefer a Coke without ice, please. Be aware, this only happens when we're asking something for ourselves or expressing our own wishes, preferences. If we are offering something to someone or asking directly, we use the present tense. Quer café? Would you like a coffee? Lastly, we have the imperfect being used to replace the conditional in the colloquial form. That is, even though the conditional mood exists and is used in Portuguese, it is more common in the written form or in fixed oral forms. So in general, the imperfect is used in conditional situations, such as o que fazias se estivesses na minha situação? What would you do if you were in my situation? I hope you found this video helpful. Leave me a like and a comment. Até para a semana!